who could sing something. Okay, let's do that. Well, the next guest is me. But I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my beautiful Canadian counterpart. You might know him as Ketch. We all know him as David Haydn Jones. How are you?
I didn't realize you were hosting. I was like, where'd Adam go?
Yeah.
You're up here.
Still getting a feel for it.
Love it. You're so good at it. Isn't he so great, guys?
Yes, he is. Oh, you're too kind.
No, I mean, you're so affable. Affable and likable and entertaining. And you're fun. And you're a nice man. I was like to just sing Adam praises my boyfriend's. I love this guy. That's legit. That's not performative.
I forgave him. I had to forgive him. I'm still sore about it.
Still sore about it, I know.
You know?
We were playing make-believe, you know that.
Oh, wow. Well, it's so good to be back.
It's so good to be on the set of Close Encounters of the Third Kind as well.
So, if you block the lights, there are plenty of people in here where you draw quite a crowd, Dave. Are we looking for, like, what kind of a panel are we looking to do, David? Are you looking like any kids in the audience? You're not a kid. You're old enough. You're old enough.
Don't they make you sign waivers now that you're going to be watching adult content?
Fuck, shit, balls.
That actually got applause from someone. You're like, hello, fuck, shit, and balls. I'm pro balls and the fucking the shit. Great. We just have to calibrate. You know, because it was Berman, right? Gary?
Sorry?
Gary came and we finally had our boss, one of our bosses that runs creation. And he had finally come see one of our panels after us embarrassing ourselves for close to 4 years. He's like, oh, well, you get quite salty up there, don't you? And I was like, what? I was like, well, boss, we do read the room. But we try to, you know, sometimes, but here's the other thing too. Like, give yourselves a little bit of credit here too, okay? Because I knew nothing about fanfic before I came into the supernatural fanfic.
But he's lent into it quite well since.
Well,
lent into it being the operative word.
I'll be selling a few pieces at my table later. Quite delightful to curl up with by a fire. Gets weird. But also, I also find, you know, there's a sort of a statistical analysis of the audiences that this is a big double entendre loving group in general. Double entendre is make it dirty any way you can.
And even if you can make it dirty, you manage to make it dirty.
Well,
something that's really remotely sanitary.
What I've found is intonation.
Sanitary, dirty, all right?
Yeah, exactly.
Sanitary pad. Was that what you were thinking? Fantastic. I'll roll with it.
Exactly. But intonation gets you 90% of the way there, right? Yeah. Like, just give me a random sentence.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. That was easy. That was too easy. Give me like a clinical science sentence.
Frank, scared of his other half, ambles down to the shop one Friday afternoon. Alas, it was closed.
Alas, it was closed.
A wee ass. Wink. Oh, the ass was closed.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, see? Well, that's the level of high and wit and entertainment you're going to get for the next 30 minutes, folks.
Well, sometimes we need questions to inspire this filth that we tend to play. Well, we got one lucky customer.
Get up on the mic. Oh, yes.
He always sauntering up there. No, you're just going to sit down.
You're just sitting down.
All right. False alarm. Here we go.
There we go. Give the brave folks. Okay, we got lines to go. Because this is more fun. The more you give us good questions, the more fun we all have. And that's
absolutely. And they can be related to supernatural if you want. You know, namely how much of a prick Kes was.
I disagree. You're misunderstood. Misunderstood.
Trigger happy. Hello.
Hi, I'm Abby Lynn.
Hi, Abby Lynn.
It's me again.
It's the husky again.
Yes. My question is kind of silly, but I figured you'd enjoy it. Would you, both of you, would either of you rather take on one horse-sized duck or 50...
Horse-sized, excuse me?
A horse-sized duck or 50 duck-sized horses?
A horse-sized duck.
See, isn't that Italian? I was like, a horse-sized dick? What? You what?
He has duck. And the question is, do you know how they artificially inseminate horses in Canada?
I can't wait to find out!
Okay, a horse-sized duck, okay,
Yes,
or 50...
a really big duck,
Yeah.
like a duck that goes quack, yeah, just specified, or a bunch of like duck-sized horses, like little mini horses or one giant.
No, the horse-sized duck.
Take it on in a fight?
Yeah, you have to fight it.
Because I think about like running around the legs and but like I don't like insect movies, you know, insect horror movies.
Arachnophobia is the scariest movie I've
or
ever seen.
ants. So I think of a lot of mini horses coming at you. That's like a swarm.
It'd be like that scene in Jurassic Park when all the little mini, are they raptors or whatever they are? And they come up and they They eventually,
the little girl, the British girl on the beach. That's a scene in one, isn't it? Three?
Wasn't there one of the original as well? Or
Where the guy gets in the water. There's all
it's
those,
Pete Postlethwaite, isn't it? Pete Postlethwaite.
That's 2, I think.
Is it 2?
2's the one where they go on the big hunt.
Yeah.
So anyways.
Great. See?
Jurassic Park facts we don't know. You're welcome, everybody. What entertainers. Thank you, Abby Lynn.
Thanks, Abby Lynn.
Great question. Hi, now we got lines. Here we go. Let's go.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry that he killed you off, because I really liked your character.
I liked him too. Thank you.
I'm glad you were able to redeem yourself. But the question, yes, you. But the question is, do you prefer to do Hallmark movies or do Supernatural?
I'll put you on the spot. Your current employer or your former employer. I know. Fuck that Supernatural show, man.
Well, no, it was interesting because I was doing both at the same time for 4 seasons there, too.
Yeah.
I gotta say, this is gonna be a very actor, honest response to that. I like the job I'm on now. My favorite job is the next job. You know, you have to remember, I was talking about this in my meet and greet. Like, you know, there's these less than 1%ers who are leads on series. That's not who most of working middle class, upper middle class actors are, or even working class.
The horse dick up.
There you go. There's a duck-shaped horse. What is it? I don't know.
Duck-shaped horse.
I'm gonna have nightmares tonight.
No, but you're right. Like the 1%ers, it's 100% true. Like most people are just journeyman actor. They work and they get paid, and then they spend that money, and they need to get another job. And that's kind of the way that like it goes for most of us. So,
but and I have a brain that. I really love eclecticism and diversity in my work, so it was really fun for me to go like to, you know, single dad artist to Catch and back and forth. In fact, this is an interesting, hopefully, again,
we'll decide that.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, you're gonna find this interesting, I declare. I actually was working with Dan McKellar on nights on a movie called My Christmas Dream. And I had done my original take for Catch on tape and hadn't heard anything for 3 weeks. And we were shooting nights on our last week. Sometimes they make you shoot nights, and that totally messes any like night shift workers. Like you really have to get your whole like system in line. I was gonna have my third callback and final callback the morning after I was shooting my last night on this movie. And so I was like, oh, what? Why? And they couldn't reschedule. They said, you're really interested. You're gonna be the only guy in Vancouver that they're gonna see. But you gotta go into casting at 10 a.m. And we wrapped at 6 a.m. And I was so exhausted. But I'd been like any power naps I could be taking the whole night. And then I did a power nap and set 3 alarms, I'm not kidding you, right? I got home at 6:30, tried to have a power nap. I listened to my lines right before bed. Then I got into my tuxedo at around 9, and I had to drive there. It was a 45-minute drive. So I'm just on pure adrenaline at this point, right? And I've got my RP pronunciation going in the car. So
The tip of the tongue and the tip of the
tip of the
lips.
tongue, proper, yeah.
Red leather, you know.
And that was the day I got catch. So
It's like getting COVID.
for some. Yeah, so you see how like one momentum ties into the other. So I wouldn't have catch if it wasn't for Hallmark. And then, in fact, I got other jobs as a result of Supernatural. So work begets work.
I can see how people watching. I can see how people watching Catch and Supernatural are like, we must cast that guy in the Christmas Love movie. He's such a nice fella. What, I don't get a rocket launcher? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, Catch was the hardest swing for me in terms of typecasting. That's what was so exciting about it, right? Like, it was just such a hard character to try to play or inhabit, and
And did so well.
Oh, well.
Didn't he do well? Wasn't it
Absolute revelation. Absolute honor to play it. Thank you for that great question.
Well, thank you, but I'm not sure you really answered it.
Oh, look at that. She's doing it there. Oh,
Don't
actually,
make me
she dropped the mic.
decide. Don't make me decide. I'll give the Sophie's Choice silent cry.
I'll give you a hint, say Supernatural. Are any Hallmark producers here? No.
Say
Supernatural.
Yeah, because the internet.
Oh, fuck. No one records this. This doesn't go out, right?
I got worried about our last one. I was like, we made this kinkiest, weirdest Hallmark movie with like swear words in it. I was like, I'm never working on that.
Wasn't Rudolph getting nose fucked? Yeah. We all know why his nose is red now.
It got weird. That's where you draw the line? What? They're like, hold on.
I just heckled sheep shaggers on us.
Yeah. Well,
You're like from Wales.
Hey, fuck shit balls, yeah. You do not fucking make fun of Rudolph's red nose. Hold me back!
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Very.
All right. My name is Lisa.
Hi, Elise.
I'm got 2 questions.
Okay.
Okay. One was for Catch. What was it like coming back as Catch's twin brother? And then
I kind of look like him more now, the Shaggy.
yeah.
Alexander too.
That was pretty cool actually. And the other question is, okay, the scene where Catch kills Mick. What was, I mean, that, well, it pissed me off.
Yeah, me too. I had a headache for weeks.
I liked Mick. So how did that play out as far as like when you found out that Catch was going to kill Mick?
Oh, okay. Well, it's so he had read it before I had read it, I think, right? Like we probably got it at the same time, but my agent actually told me. She calls me up and she goes, "I'm just sending you the script, just so you know you die." I was like, kill the suspense.
It's a sad day for any actor.
So I was reading the script, and I was like, got to page the maybe the last 5 pages, and I said, she's made a fucking mistake. I don't. Fucking Catch. And then David called me. Did you call me? You texted me, and what'd you say?
You're gonna be mad at me.
You're gonna be mad at me. The whole world is gonna be mad at me. And because at that point, Mick had really kind of found a lot of love from the boys, from Sam and Dean, and was trying to shake things up from the British Men and Letters perspective. But I always say this: as much as I I would have done the show. I'd still be doing the show if I could. You know, I loved doing the show. Unlike David, who almost said Hallmark movies, I loved Supernatural.
I was just going to correct that. I'm going to finish this and I am going to address that. Because she's right, I did not answer the question. I will want to.
Okay. But it's given me so much, and I love it, and I love all you fans, and I loved playing Mick. However, from an artistic perspective, Mick's arc was really beautiful. Like, it started, like, it had all the emotions from all the fans, and I hear it all the time. It was like, wait, fucking hated you at the beginning. Now he said, oh, he's not so bad. They were like, oh, we really like him. Oh my God, he's great. Oh my God, he's dead. And so that's a really good arc for a character. Now, that doesn't mean because it's Supernatural, he could have come back in a different capacity, or maybe I could have had a twin brother as well. You know? But yeah, you want to answer the first part of the question?
No, I was just going to say, to your point too, and when you take your ego and the fact you're unemployed, because, you know, I died twice too, you know, you're always sad. And that actually ties into the question about Hallmark. This isn't pandering at all. There is no other show on the planet like Supernatural, with a fandom like Supernatural, and it's a challenging role. And also, and you know this, and I think you know this, and it is not performative or pandering at all.
They don't mind if it is.
J2M are some of the most cordial, kind, collegial, funny, smart men you'll ever meet on the planet. And when they invite you in to play and work with them, it is kind, it is humorous, it is take the work seriously, don't take yourself seriously, and the fact that over 50 crew members were there from day one to the end tells you something about what you feel about this show.
Yes,
so yes, one of the best working experience I've ever had, so there.
And any of you, I won't ask you to put up your hands again, but any of you who are first-time conners here today, you'll know, well, you did it anyway, I knew you would. You'll find out, the more and more of these you come to, you'll find out, like where's the backdrop, you know? You guys, and the friendships that you develop, and the help that you get from, you know, there isn't a con that goes by that I don't have someone come up to my table with a photo of me to sign. I said, oh, what's your name? And she goes, oh, it's not for me, it's for this girl I met on the internet who's sick and she can't make it. I'm like, what? You go to the extent of queuing up and buying a photo for this person you've never met because you feel their pain, or you know what it's like to be missing out on a convention. It's really something very, very, very special.
I am gobsmacked continuously at every event. There's at least a handful of just incredible demonstrations of community and kindness and love. So please keep it going. You're the real stars of this.
Now that's enough soppiness. We're going to get filthy from here on in. Hello. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Excellent.
So, as much as sadly it wasn't meant to be, if situations were different, do you think something would have actually happened between Ketch and Rowena?
I thought you were going to say Ketch and Mick. I totally shipped that, by the way. I shipped the ever-living horse kick out of it.
My wound, like crashed.
Do not send any of this to Hallmark! We're trying to get our own convention circuit going.
David Haydn Jones has a new tag on Twitter. It's at HALLMAORK. I nearly fucked up the spelling.
I was like, what? H-what? I like where that was going. Hallmark. Oh, speaking of a Hallmark movie, I had this fantasy that...
That's what we could call the Rudolph thing, Hallmark.
I was saying that Ketch and Rowena's ship should be called Hellmark. A Hellmark movie. I had this fantasy that they were going to put Ketch in hell as, when he died, as her manservant. Sitting on bended knee at the side of her throne, doing what
I think you'd have to be on all fours for the whole thing. With a leash. Like a diamante necklace leash. Like not leather. Like playing against type a little bit.
No, and imagine if Ketch was in this black leather suit.
Gimp suit, I believe they're called.
No, but his would have a vest, and it would look like an actual Armani.
Oh, okay.
But it would be made out of black leather. Or shall I say, pleather? What's the pleasure in it's also kind to the animals.
You mean you don't make your balls? No, sorry. I thought you said it's kind to the animals.
But to your point, we definitely tried to play a little bit of the wink, wink, nudge, nudge, who's your father? And in fact, we talked about their history, because we know they have history, right? They have working history, and whether there was any little, because Rowena likes men. She's not shy about that. So I absolutely endorse that little bit of, I don't know why I'm dropping the names here. Yeah, there was I think I wanted to see a little something there, for sure. And it was definitely played in the scene. So would it be sense of history and chemistry?
Like if Ketch was going to be in a relationship or an assorted kind of rendezvous, would it be with relationship with Mary?
Oh,
Rowena?
Oh, an F.
Oh no! Oh no!
F, Mary, kill. F, Mary, kill.
F, Mary, kill. Yeah.
Who are my three? So Rowena, Mary,
obviously. No, let's choose another female for the show. Jody.
Jody. Ooh, that's tough. Oh, I really painted myself into a corner here.
You know, the only person who's not here yet is Ruth Connell, so you can probably escape that one pretty easily.
Remember, we're talking about Ketch. And someone's mind is like, don't you go there. Someone's in a little rumble here, I don't even want to hear it.
Record.
Close your ears. Well, Ketch would have to kill Jody. Because they're kind of, sort of enemies if you could look at the lore of the show. 100% Mary. And, fornicate with Rowena.
Marvelous. Okay.
Slappy, tappy.
Oh, God. I don't know.
I just made it up.
Are you into that kind of thing? Slappy, slappy, tappy. That's what you used to say to Mick in your typey on your keyboard.
Well, when you were telling me if I knew what a horsecock was, I was like, I was going to say to you, like, don't brag in front of the audience. It's like, I was New Orleans, man. Shush.
Oh, Nola. Hi.
Hello, my name is Brian.
Hi, Brian.
My question is for David. So, did you actually ride the motorcycle in the episode?
Oh, that's a great question.
Oh, that's a great question.
Great question, David.
And if so, did you do anything dumb on it?
Oh, that's another great caveat to the question. Have you ever seen the size of David H. Jones's head? The size of his head. Have a look. I'll come back to mine. Okay, David, take it away.
Yeah. So, in fact, in my last panel, I said I was just about to get my motorcycle license in Vancouver, and then the rains came, and then they booked, and then they got the stunt person for me. So one of my things that it's like, I gotta get off my bucket list is learn how to ride a bike, because it really bugged me. I couldn't at least arrive sometimes on the bike. So the answer is no. That was always doubled. But as I have sworn, what was our last one? Where were we?
Vegas.
They sort of blurred. But I mean, I'm gonna get my motorcycle license. I'm gonna slay that dragon. The other stupid thing that I did on the motorbike, however, was just sit on it. And when the director and props came over, they said, we want you to just sort of arrive like this and, stop and take your helmet off. And there's a certain thing that happens on sets with wardrobe and props. Hats always fall somewhere in the middle. And everyone assumes that you have a normal average-sized head. Do not make that assumption with this noggin. Because
it was like a yarmulke.
It was like a yarmulke, basically. I was going to Temple. This helmet, it looked like it was one of those, like a kid's helmet trying to put on me. And we were shooting late, we were running out of time. And I said, this is not going to fit on me. So he's like, what? What's no. And so we're talking to props. He's like, okay, well, just lift it off your head. Like, you're just like, da. So that felt really dumb. Of course, guess who gets wind of this? Is Jared. Jared sees that Dave Haydn Jones is having helmet and head size issues on this motorbike. So he just starts grilling me mercilessly. And you know when Jared has that really fun collegial laugh that he gets going, you know, like that chesty laugh? And he was just like, he just thought it was the funniest thing ever. He starts pulling up on his phone pictures of Dark Helmet from Spaceballs. I start showing everyone on the crew, and anyone in the listeners like, hey, can we get this for Davy and Jones? We need a special helmet made for Davy and Jones. So yeah, that's my my motorcycle shame and the stupidest thing I've ever done on a motorbike.
Thanks, David.
Thanks, Brian.
Hello.
Hi.
So I was wondering for Ketch, what was it like flirting and having relations with everybody's mom?
That's a good way of putting it.
That is a great question. Well, I did want to be a stepdaddy of the Manchesters. I love the woos and the There's some fur balls being choked up in the audience right there. It was really fun. Yeah, I mean, what's nice about a character like Ketch that is so arrogant and narcissistic and full of himself, but also sociopathic, but then also brainwashed, but then also vulnerable. Like all those colors. Like one of my favorite moments in the whole show for me, honestly, from like a character perspective, is when Mary says to Ketch, you know, this is just a one-night thing, right? And I tried to have this...
Nick was laughing from his grave.
And I just love the sort of the reverse trope of that, but also I just wanted to have just a glimmer of a broken heart in Ketch when she told him that. Like I wanted you to see a flash of like, oh no, that's very sad for you. I was hoping...
But he didn't have a heart.
See, that's to be debated. I think he did. Well, he got.
No, he did. I mean,
he got pulled out of his. No, it was definitely.
He definitely
absolutely shut down. I mean, he's a tortured soul for sure. But yeah, it was really fun. Thanks.
Thank you.
I see what you did there. Yeah, well done. Crowley's bump, of course.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Hello.
Hello.
My question is, what's the funniest joke that you can tell off the top of your head?
Oh, I have the one my daughter made up. This is a proud daddy moment, and she told it when she was 3. She made it up. She was just starting to synthesize, and as someone who's grown up in comedy his whole life, this is like my proudest joke. So she had just started learning how to brush her teeth, and you have to ask them to floss just to practice. They're not doing really anything. You just got to get used to it. So 3 weeks later, she goes with Grandma and Grandpa to a dinosaur museum. And she had a blast there. She loved dinosaurs. And they had one of those things where you could look for bones in the sand. And she comes back from that trip and she goes, Daddy, I learned a really cool word. It's called paleontologist. Cut to 3 weeks ahead, we're having breakfast. And she goes, and you can see this, you know when you see kids and they're like, the gears are grinding, you see the synthesis going? It's like, Daddy, how do paleontologists clean their teeth? Because, you know, kids will also practice their new favorite word for 2 weeks. You know, like, I'm a paleontologist. And I was like, I don't know, baby, how do paleontologists clean their teeth? She's like, by fossiling. What? True story, 100% true story.
I believe I've met this kid. She's smart as a whip. Smart as a whip.
Like, I'm done, best job in the world. Yeah, I got the best job in the world.
Oh, I can't wait till my kids start talking. Actually, yeah.
You have so much to look forward to.
Yeah.
Like babies for men, I call them charming luggage, but we're kind of useless. It's like, how much gear I gotta lug? Okay, well, I'm gonna lug gear. Then they start walking and they start talking. And you're like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, they're amazing. It's been a trip. It's been 8 months of craziness. It's amazing. I have a joke, but it's a longer joke, a long form joke. Will it work? Okay, so this Irish couple, a very elderly Irish couple, they get on their very first plane ride. They're going over to see their daughter in the States, never been on a plane before, and they're from the country. And Mary, she's very deaf in her right ear, so she sits in by the window. And then John, her husband Tom, he sits on the outside, And then on the very outside, this big American comes in. He's like, "Hi, I'm John Connor. How are you?" "Well, hello, I'm Tom, and this is my wife Mary." "What did he say, love?" "He just asked us our names, love." "Ah, Tom and Mary, nice to meet you guys. Where are you guys from?" "Well, we're from a county called Tipperary." "What did he say, love?" "He said he just asked us where we were from, love." "Fuck's sake. Tipperary, huh? I've been in Tipperary. What part of Tipperary are you guys from?" "Well, we're from a small town called Quinn. What did he say, love?" "He said, just ask us where we were from." "No, for God's sake." "Quinn? You know what? I've been to Quinn. In fact, I had the worst ride of my life in Quinn about 40 years ago." "What did he say, love?" "He said he thinks he fucking knows you."
What I love about that joke, and there's a lot to love, is that I thought you were going to do the deflection with the Tipperary. That's because I thought it was going to be the old shaggy dog, "That's a long way to Tipperary."
No.
I love that. See? I love it. I love the craft. Because I'm all like, the Tipperary, long way to Tipperary.
Joke telling is it's an amazing art form. And I think the key to it is remembering jokes. My dad at Christmas a couple of years ago stood up in a room full of a load of people that he didn't know and told his joke, and he fucking bawled because he forgot the middle of it. And I tried to help him, and he goes, "Stop talking to me."
Was it a G.I. Jane joke?
Oh. What's your opinion on that, David? Did you see Jim Carrey come out against it? Did you see that? And then they showed this clip of him absolutely face raping Alicia Silverstone at the MTV Movie Awards. He went up, he storms up on stage in the Movie Awards by 2000 and something, and he grabs her face and starts making out with her on stage. And she's so aware of what's
I was so lost by this story. You just said face. I heard face rape and I just said, "Oh, I don't know what it is afterwards."
So Jim Carrey comes out and he says that Will Smith should have been arrested.
He was very like Canadian and
and then someone digs out a clip of what he did when he won an award for what was the movie? Does anyone know? Does anyone see this?
Truman Show.
Oh no! But Jim Carrey has won this award like back in 2003 or something like that. And he at the MTV Movie Awards, you know, the popcorn award that they give, and Alicia Silverstone is presenting it to him. And he goes up on stage and doesn't take the award, just grabs her face and makes out with her without her permission.
I'm sure the internet will find that clip very soon.
Oh yeah, it's up there. Weird.
But no, listen, well, don't get me started on Hollywood and hypocrisy. That will make us all sad.
Okay.
That'll make us very sad.
Let's get back to the fun.
Let's stay with the fun, which is where I like to live. Hallmark movies and murder. Okay.
Okay, so not to rehash some old feelings here again, but we know Mr. Ketch kills Mickey Davies. But if the roles were reversed, could Mickey Davies kill Mr. Ketch?
If the roles were reversed, but Mickey Davies is because it's her love for the monkeys. So she calls me Mickey Davies because they're the actors, I was going to say, no, the people in the band.
Hey, Mickey Davies and
Hey, with Mickey Davies
and Davy Jones. We're the monkeys.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we kind of are.
Dance, monkey. If the roles were reversed, could he have?
Yeah.
For sure.
I think, well, no, but I think deeper, could Mick have got the courage to kill Ketch based on his conscience? Because you were the one, that was your point. You were the conscience of the British Men of Letters that was going to defect, probably, right?
Well, we're going to have to deal with a lot of hypotheticals here. If Mick knew that his life was in danger, maybe. I think what Mick would have probably done was probably try to reason with Ketch, and turn the tables on Dr. Hess.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you were given the order from Dr. Hess, could you have followed through?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Like, I don't know, because like I had just come fresh off the bat of killing my first werewolf, you know, and ladies drink free, saving Dean's life. No big deal. No big deal.
But for example, you would absolutely murder me, Dave Haydn Jones, in a fight, right? Like you would destroy me. You just with your Krav Maga and your fighting Irish whiskey fueled rampage.
He's ripped right now.
No, that's not. No, but it's all like Canadian moose muscle.
Yeah. Moose muscle? Moose knuckle?
No. Why is there so much equestrian sex theme today? There's mooses and ducks and Rudolph. God, poor ungulates.
I don't know good word.
Are those ungulates? No, those are cow. I don't know what I used to be a park ranger. I'm getting into weird nerd mode. But I think you would take me, but Ketch would take you. That's all I'm trying to say.
100%. Yeah.
Types of mythos.
What was the question? Would Mick have the ability? Would he have the?
No, more like at that point, like with the morals and all that kind of really setting in, would you have actually decided if you got the
I don't think so. I don't think Mick would. I don't, because I think, you know, the whole thing about Mick was trying to be a better person, and we were both brainwashed as children by Hess, and we were both in Kendrick's I was made kill my best friend, and it was real poisonous upbringing. So I think by the time we meet Mick, he's already going through some kind of transformation at the beginning of season 12. But still, he's still by the book, and he's still convinced that we eradicated werewolves from London since 1929. We got the job done, and they're still roaming around here. But it was then through the education he got from the boys, and from the Winchesters, and he saw the world, and he saw, you know, the supernatural world in a completely different light. And there was something in him that wanted to break out of that brainwashing. So I think at the point that Mick dies, I do think that given the opportunity, if he'd have known what was going to happen, he would have not retaliated or whatever.
Yeah, I think your conscience would have kicked in, and you might even try to get Ketch onto your.
Hey dude, don't kill me! Let's kill this crazy bitch!
Like, shoot Ketch. Yeah,
who like brainwashed us.
So I think we solved the canon.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
The canon is solved.
And scene. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent.
I was wondering if you could be any monster from the show, which one would you be and why?
I've been asked this before. Leviathan. Because I just think that those scary teethy mouths are really cool. I just want to gobble people up with my weird, especially Rudolph's nose with those teeth.
I think Dagon. Just because I had this real great scene at the end of my last scene that I shot actually on Supernaturals in Night Shoot, and she was just so powerful. It was a very interesting scene to watch because it was the only monster I really got to work with, and she was incredibly powerful. It was funny because we were doing all these stunts. She was down in the car, and we all just like get shot back. So we were all tied to these ropes that were like, and you'd walk out, and then once you just jump up in the air, it would just pull you right back, So it was a lot of fun to shoot that scene, and I think it really comes across the power that she has. Really comes across in the end of the episode. Yeah.
Great question. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. I just wanted to say that I really appreciate how meticulously put together your two characters were. They're really well acted.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
They were very well written.
Really, really great arcs too, I think.
That being said, my question is a little juvenile. I'm 15, so would you like to play me in rock, paper, scissors?
Hey. Come on.
I don't know what this is.
Rock, paper, scissors, you never played it?
Rock, paper, scissors. I thought she said Rocky versus Ruth.
Are you ready? I'll go first, then Dave can go second.
That's awesome.
That's right.
That's what I want there. Rock, paper. Do you know how to play? Speaking of the mic.
Speaking of juvenile, I'm sorry you had to see that.
One apiece. 16-year-old right there.
That's, you know what she said? She said a real sweet thing. She said, "My first convention, best first convention." And that's so nice on the first time or so. Give me a buzz. But I will always think of that game as Rocky versus Ruth now. From now on.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Shannon. I'm here with my 13-year-old daughter, Harper.
I am so sorry, Harper.
That's okay. I already warned her about you guys. My question is, we know ultimately Mick did feel some guilt about killing the little werewolf girl. Do you think once Ketch had his redemption, if you will, did he feel guilt about killing this sweet little psychic girl?
Oh, I think the guilt was washing over Ketch for, I would say, what was the first point that he really started to have? Well, getting killed the first time, and then respawning in like the sewer pipe. Shawshank Redemption coming out of the bunker. You learn some lessons from that when you wake up in a pile of poop. It humbles a person.
Your first time. At least you didn't have to rehearse for the role, you know.
Why do you tell all my drunken secrets? But to your point, I think, yeah, that would have been the second place, and I think the real turning point, there was a piece of his heart that opened up in guilt with Mary. There was a piece that opened up when he was talking about Alexander. There was a piece with Asmodeus. There was this general consciousness building and awakening that happened after his first death. And to me, when he tries to get out of that hospital bed the last time, and he says the word friends, probably, and means it for the first time in his life, from a very, let's say, spiritual or humanistic place, I think that's where he needs to redeem himself. Oh, there's also the thing too, where he's talking about washing the blood off his hands. There's that scene with Dean on the rock in the snow in the AU. Yeah, right? And I think that's a moment of him speaking to his guilt as well. So 100%, yeah. I mean, he talks around it, he talks about it, but he also tried to redeem himself with action. So.
Okay.
Thanks for the question. Hi.
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 My question is, what is the worst prank Jensen and Jared did?
The worst prank?
Yeah, like...
The worst prank for me was my very first day working with them. I'd been on the show for a couple of days, and there's that scene, you know that scene when the first episode I'm in, episode 2 of season 12, Jared is in the bunker, he's being kidnapped by Lady Bevel, and he's being like tortured. And so we all walk in and say, "Hi guys, yeah, nice to meet you, blah blah blah." And I talk like this. When David came on set, he spoke in his British accent the whole time, so he could stay in the British accent. Not the character, just the accent, because it uses different parts of your mouth. I didn't. I grew up very close to London, so I thought I had the accent down. So I start just chatting away. We're introducing each other and having a bit of a laugh. And then we start rolling, and I go into my accent and I start speaking. And in the middle of my first line, Jared stands and goes, "Oh no, wait, cut. I don't understand a word he's fucking saying." Bright red. I was like, "Oh my God, really?" And Bob Singer came out. He goes, "Look, he does understand. Don't worry about it." Continue. Went back on to it again. He calls cut again. He calls cut 3 times until I am bright red with embarrassment. And eventually they all just laughed it off, and we went off and we did the scene. But I swear to God, that was the first prank, the best prank, and it was also just made me realize what kind of show I was embarking on, because it's, as David always says, the play and the work are both taken so seriously. Like, it's so much fun to be an actor. It's so much fun to get to do what we want to do. Like, to play and make believe for your life, it's the dream job. And then you layer that on top of a show that's done so well, it's not like a well-oiled machine by the time we came onto the show. And all these guys are just super friendly and super nice. but they were on like episode 200 and something when we came onto the show, and they would take it so seriously. Everything was like, you know, like they knew the lore, they knew the canon. Obviously, they were the leads in the show, but you know, I worked on some shows where the lead is not as kind of collegial and they're not as kind of engaged, and they don't, like, they can phone it in a little bit more. So it really hammered home what kind of show I was on. David?
And that speaks to, well, I already told you the helmet motorcycle teasing. That wasn't a prank per se, but I never got pranked, but Jared loves to kind of mess with what you call your coverage, especially once they get to know you. They don't want to, like, you gotta know you can take it a little bit too, right?
You can take it.
In case in point. But when Ketch and Dean go to the AU, remember they had to cobble together that big spell from all over the world, and I think Castiel had to go to Israel and get those magical balls from a tree, I don't know what it was. And then the mortar and pistol. Am I getting that right? Mortar and pistol?
Yeah, mortar. Yeah. Can you do the action again?
Which is going to lead
pestle and mortar.
Pestle and mortar. Why do I say it?
Hey, does the same thing.
Pestle and mortar. What is it? Pestle and...
A pestle and mortar.
Pestle and mortar. Right. And so he was mixing the spell all together, or whatever the thing that was going to open the portal. And so when he goes off to my camera, he's like, he holds the pestle like this, and he's like, do I do it like this, Ketch? Is this how I'm supposed to make the potion? And I'm supposed to be just sitting there like this, and Jared is just like doing this with the balls. And like, is this gonna make the spell work? And I just try to keep a straight face through that. It was good. But again, they know they're not wasting time. They do it when they know you're a pro and you can handle it, and it's a really good time. So there you go. And look, and the band's here. Perfect time. I'm so sorry. Anyone coming? Well, anyone who was waiting in line, because this always happens. No one comes up, and then everyone comes up. But we will be here tomorrow.
You guys go to the top of the queue tomorrow, and then you guys, would you please go to the top of the line tomorrow? So you get to answer your questions first. That'd be great. So we don't miss out. Thanks, kid. Well done. Great question.
But we apologize for a very boring panel.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Nothing fun or interesting happened for the internet at all.
There was no role playing this time.
You guys are awesome. You're so fun. We appreciate you so much.